So, Joni, what I want to talk about today is the five underrated traits that really make someone a great long term partner. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I'm so happy to welcome back Joni Caldwell Lerner, the dating coach, motivational coach, communications expert, and the author of Stop, Look, Choose. Joni, thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. It's always so well done. I'm like, I want to channel my inner Silka out there.
Oh, thank you. Well, I want to pick up on a conversation that we had a few months ago, maybe, and obviously something we mentioned in most of our segments, how important, looks are versus other qualities when you're looking to find love again after 50. And I mean, I get it. Yes, looks are important at first. It has to be that initial connection, but really that's not what ultimately keeps a relationship going. And I want to talk about that today. Five overlooked qualities of what really makes a perfect partner. So let's get right into it. So the first one here, reliability. That sounds so boring.
There are basic needs for the human being. One is for security, reliability, and the other is for adventure or change. And they're opposites, and we need both. I need to rely on my person to communicate with me. They don't have to be, they can travel, they can do all kinds of things. They have a full life, that's fabulous, but communicate with me. Be reliable in communication. Be reliable. If I have a flat tire and he's not the first person I call, there's something wrong there. And vice versa. They can rely on me. They can rely on me to be the same person every day. They can rely on me to show up in my values. They can rely on me to be a loving human being. You can count on someone.
Absolutely. You can rely on them when life becomes real. And there's pretty easy ways actually to tell that very early on, in dating. Like they cancel plans last minute, don't follow through on promises, or you're constantly wondering where you stand. That's just a horrible place to be.
Yeah, it's disrespectful too. At this point in life, communication. Be clear with what you want. Be clear with what the boundaries are. Be clear with what you need. What are you looking for? Don't sit out there and guess.
Yeah, reliability absolutely is key and is highly underrated in what you need to make a relationship last. Number two here, warmth. But warmth is not just how somebody is towards you, but also how they are towards other people. It's just an overall state of being is the way I see it.
Well, you're right. And I do a lot of leadership coaching as well. Some people live in heart. They're very warm, very naturally. You just want to hug that person, or you feel like you've been hugged when you're in their presence. Some people are very driven with action and going out and killing the moose and doing all the things, and they're very direct. And that person needs to work on warmth, and they can create it, and empathy. And then there's one that is all about supporting people and healers and relationship centered people. They are easily in heart and in warmth. So you don't have to run around being a warm and fuzzy Care Bear all the time, but be willing to care, be willing to empathize, be willing to develop that side of your personality if it's not a natural thing.
And it is another easy thing to judge once you or determine once you meet someone. So maybe this person is warm, towards you or charming and again, has that initial attractiveness. But how do they treat others around them? How do they treat the wait staff? We've talked about that a lot. How are they towards grandchildren, family? A lot to be told in those kind of interactions.
Yes. I mean, we have talked about that. There's something called a pattern of one. If they do that to one person, they probably do it in other areas of their lives. So if they are dismissive or rude or arrogant toward wait staff, that's the easiest sort of example. They're probably doing that in all areas of their lives, and they will eventually do it with you. But right now they're on their best behavior. So pay attention to how they treat other human beings. Absolutely.
Here's another one that, yeah, lots of us suffer from. Patience. Why is patience such a powerful trait in relationships after 50?
Oh, it's interesting because after 50, there are some hearing loss issues. There may be some physical health issues. There may be trying to, as I actually do it, trying to find words.
Mhm,
Don't jump in. Don't be impatient. Don't finish their sentences. Don't treat them like they're feeble. I mean, that's the worst thing that a younger person can do for an older person. I'm just saying. But yes, patience in the process. And for a woman, we've talked about this too. Women have, even at our age, a different time frame. So if a guy says, "That was a great date, I'm going to call you." And the woman goes, "Yes." And so in her head, she hears he's going to call me tonight or tomorrow
mhm, mhm,
because that's the timing in her head. But for him, quickly is next week or the week after. Now, having said that, I also notice with older men in dating, there's plenty of time and none to waste. At
mhm,
this point, we don't have time to waste. You know, we don't have years and years and years to develop this. Let's
mhm.
find out if there's a connection. Let's find out if this is a good companion, a good partner.
Absolutely. And I think patience is a virtue in any part of life, especially in a relationship after 50, for all the reasons that you just stated. And it's something, again, that early on, you can determine that if somebody interrupts you all the time, for example, snaps at you. I mean, those are big, big signs that this is a very impatient individual. And do you really want to be around them?
Well, and here's the other thing, Silke, and we didn't mention this. Patience with a person who may have had some trauma in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the divorce was ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a spouse. Patience with their process of grief. Patience with the fact that they've got some baggage packed up on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to put up with the baggage. If that person's really working on getting rid of it or themselves, then maybe some patience in that.
Absolutely. Number four here, compassion. Is this a compassionate individual, and how do you spot that?
It's interesting because I talked about the four different personalities, and they can be compassionate and
Mhm.
not show it in the way you do if they care. If you say, I woke up and my back is out, just use a physical example. And they're like, okay, well, I'll see you next week. Or, hey,
Mhm.
can I bring you some chicken soup? I mean, there are some brownie points right there.
Mhm.
So compassion for the human being part of this journey, because we're going to have stuff happen
Yes.
along the
Yeah.
way. And we'll do the best to take care of these physical bodies, these vehicles. You just never know. So wait, also have compassion for yourself.
Yeah, compassion is huge, and we all need it the older we get. And I don't want to make us sound, feeble, but this is just it's just the way it is. It is the way it is. And that's important to recognize. Will this person be there, when you need them? One way, and it says here, and I agree so much, do they downplay your emotions when you do share something that is difficult, something that you're dealing with? Do they downplay that? Big sign.
Yeah. Let's say a person is super negative all the time. They may be downplaying because it's like, okay, enough. I
Mhm.
can't listen to this anymore. But
Mhm.
if you're just you have something unusual happen, you're struggling, you want to run it by them, you want to
Mhm.
share, because there's a healing in voicing things. That's why coaching works. That's why therapy works. That's why talking to your best friend works. There is a healing in the process of speaking. And so your person is basically your best friend, or that's the goal. So that's the person that you would want to go to and say, man, and I'll go to John and I'll say, I'm feeling a little off and I can't figure out what it's about.
Mhm.
And he'll say, well, who were you talking to? When did this start? He's not trying to fix it. He's trying to help me
Mhm.
navigate it. So that's a good way to respond to somebody who has something going on, is
Mhm.
just, you don't take it on.
Or
But
don't say, oh, it's nothing. Oh, don't worry about it. It's
no,
nothing.
you don't downplay it.
Yeah.
You don't, it matters to them. They're having a
Mhm.
conversation about this. It's
Yeah, and
important.
that's something we don't think about really, at the
Well,
beginning of a relationship. This is it's so important. It's so
and I
important.
just
It's
want to
something.
give a little tip here to your
Hmm.
viewers. And I
Hmm.
may have said it before, but here's the deal. Women, here's a secret sauce. Women want to be seen. Want to feel like they have been seen and they've been heard. So there's a safety there that goes back to the beginning of the conversation. Men want respect
Hmm.
and appreciation. So I just gave you guys out there the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Treat your man with respect. Tell him how much you appreciate them. And thank you for listening to me and not downplaying what I just shared
Hmm.
with you. I
Share
really
with you.
appreciate you. That's the secret sauce out there. And guys, see them, hear them, acknowledge that you're actually listening to your
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, carry on.
If you want to either maintain or start a new relationship after 50, all that is critical. It's
Critical.
just critical. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Finally, here, another great point, thoughtfulness. Is this person thoughtful? And again, it's something you don't really think about in the throes of passion, thoughtfulness, but it plays out later. Does this person make you feel special?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you, in an offhanded way, mention that you love Vivaldi
Mhm.
and he finds a recording or he has it playing when you come over? Mention that you like candles and the candles are lit. There's so many things that can be thoughtful. In the thoughtfulness, be thoughtful in your response. Don't
Mhm.
take it for granted, not ever. One of the things I said to John in the very, very beginning, he said, "What are you afraid of?" Like this is after a very long marriage.
Mhm.
And I said, I'm afraid you'll stop trying. And he said to me, I swear to you, I will try every day for the rest of
Mhm.
our lives.
Yeah, you've
And
said
he,
that before, and I thought that's so great. I
it
love,
is.
love, love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul's more of the, well, I've told you, you should know by now. Gotta love them. But this goes to people are different, and sometimes you just have to be reminded of what your words or the lack thereof, what sort of effect they do have. And again, if you want that relationship after 50 or maintain a marriage that might be on the rocks, these are great points to focus on.
And we've had men say, well, women don't want a nice guy. What we just described is a kind human being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kindness, respect. It's almost the bare minimum in terms of living in your values and being a loving person. I mean, this is not rocket science. You just
No.
follow those things and you're going to do very well out there.
It is simple. Do they remember what you tell them? Or do they keep that in their head and maybe bring it out, as you said earlier, in a special gift or something? And that just, especially for women, just means so much. And in the way that you feel in a relationship, and in how you are willing to maintain and go on in that relationship.
One last thing I want to remind the viewers of, if they haven't taken the quiz, the free quiz online, the five love languages, I
Mm-hmm.
would be really interested if I were you to go do the quiz, figure out what your love language is. And
Mm-hmm.
then if you're dating someone new, figure out what their love language is. John's is acts of service. That's not my language. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly appreciating him for he cooks for me, he does all these things. I mean, I'm like
Yeah.
blown away. But I turn around and figure out, okay, where can I do an act of service? I give him a massage. These are acts of service that I can provide for him, and he feels loved. So mine is words of appreciation. So it's like, tell me I'm beautiful.
Well, and
Of
yeah,
course you are.
it's funny that they say here, what's the bottom line? But what's the bottom line in all this? And one of the things is that you don't have to feel like you have to tell someone that, tell me you love me, or tell me that you don't have that need to get that sort of appreciation shown to you. That's what lasts. So remember this, and I totally believe in this. The fireworks fade, but things like warmth, reliability, compassion, thoughtfulness, that's innate. It's not likely to fade, and is what ultimately keeps things together. Joni, is there anything else that you want to say on this?
course, there's always something else I want to say. So, yes, the last thing that I would want to say is that, and most people out there know that at this point in life, they've experienced true love. I hope.
Mhm.
I hope they know what that is. And so true love is not the Star Spangled Banner going off in your head when you see a person, or I don't know why I thought of that song, but it's not the fireworks. That's not true love. That's attraction. That's passion.
Mhm.
That's, that yummy first part. The true love comes with drinking coffee together in the morning, with
Mhm.
caring about another person, about
Mhm.
listening to another person, about taking walks. It's time that deepens the love.
Mhm.
You can love somebody, absolutely. Being in love with somebody, that takes time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And luckily, there are clues in all of your interaction with people. Again, whether or not you're in a long term relationship or starting one, and perhaps starting one even more important at this point, because you don't want to get saddled down with someone that's not going to make you feel good, that where you're not going to enjoy this part of your life. So Joni, thank you. I always appreciate your time. If you want to coach with Joni directly, as so many of our viewers already have, look for the Calendly link and book a free consultation with Joni, and pick up her book right here, Stop, Look, Choose. It's like coaching with Joni without her being there. So thank you again. I can't wait for another conversation on Second Act TV.